did want to ask you, I mean, one of the most high profile incidents that happened, and it was the situation with Tiger Woods. And initially, it was seen as a DUI situation. I mean, the whole thing is bizarre, the way the car was flipped. They released video of him like nodding out in the vehicle. Now there's talk that he actually, because of the pain, he developed a painkiller addiction. If you could just touch on what advice would you give someone that, because everyone jumps to that it's a DUI, but number one, you have recreational marijuana is legal here, and there is a pretty increased amount of people that could be using some form of a painkiller that could certainly impair them. But someone that finds themselves in that situation, what would be your advice to them, Stefanie?
So I think a lot of times people don't realize, and I think we've talked about it on the show, that you can be caught driving under the influence of an over-the-counter medication,
Yep.
Let alone a prescription drug that's either being used appropriately or being abused. But it really comes down to that individual person and whether or not they're safe to operate. So some people might be able to take a prescription medication within the proper dosage and be okay to drive. Other people aren't. So it's really, subjective on that person. And what the cops have to do is a crime of opinion at that point. If there's no toxicology results, it's officer's opinion that the person's unsafe to operate due to being under the influence. So if someone's in that situation, first of all, don't drive if you don't feel right. If something's off, don't let somebody drive. It doesn't have to be because of alcohol. It could be, from Benadryl or something like that you just take and you don't have a good reaction to. You can get charged. And if you were to do a blood screen, that medication would come back that it was in your system, and your defense attorney would have to fight that maybe it was just in your system for a long time and that you weren't under the influence. But I would definitely stick with my recommendation of, refusing the field sobriety test, refusing any chemical test. I believe he blew a 0-0 on the breath test, but refuse anything. But I really would argue for people not to be put in that situation and recognize that you can get charged for driving under the influence for a variety of reasons. And it's just better not to find yourself in that spot.